السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So we're reading from Virtues of Quran. We'll continue for a bit. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من استمع إلى آية من كتاب الله كتبت له حسنة مضاعفة ومن تلاها كانت له نورا يوم القيامة. رواه أحمد. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, whoever listens to one ayah of the glorious Quran, there is written for him a twofold virtue, and whoever recites it, it shall be nur for him on the day of judgment. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, whoever listens to one ayah of the glorious Quran, there is written for him a twofold virtue, and whoever recites it, it shall be nur for him on the day of judgment. ठीक है, समझ गए.
I didn't understand like the revising part.
The which part?
Like the one who reads.
And the one who reads it, it will be nur for him, it will be light for him on the day of judgment. The scholars of hadith have questioned the above hadith with respect to its authority, but its subject matter is also affirmed by various other traditions to the effect that even listening to the recitation of the glorious Quran carries great reward. So even listening to the recitation of the glorious Quran carries great reward. So much so that according to some scholars, listening to the recitation of the glorious Quran is more virtuous than its reading. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu narrates that once Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, while sitting on the minbar, said to him, recite the Quran to me. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu said, it does not behove me to read out the Quran to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam because it was revealed to him. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, it is my heart's desire to listen. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu adds that when he recited the Quran, tears started flowing from the eyes of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Once Salim radiallahu anhu, the freed slave of Huzaifa radiallahu anhu, was reciting the glorious Quran, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam stood by listening to him for a long time. Once Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam listened to the recitation of the glorious Quran by Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiallahu anhu and praised his reading. عن عقبة بن عامر رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الجاهر بالقرآن كالجاهر بالصدقة والمصر بالقرآن كالمصر بالصدقة. رواه الترمذي. Hazrat Uqba ibn Amir radiallahu anhu reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, one reading the Quran loudly is like the one who gives sadaqah openly. The one who reads softly is like one who gives sadaqah secretly. Hazrat Uqba ibn Amir radiallahu anhu reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, one reading the Quran loudly is like one who gives sadaqah openly. And one who reads it softly is like one who gives sadaqah secretly. Sometimes it is more rewarding to give sadaqah openly, when there is some good reason and the intention is to induce others by example. At other times, giving sadaqah secretly is more virtuous. For instance, when the intention is to avoid show on one's own part or to save the recipient from humiliation. In the same way, recitation of the Quran in a loud voice carries more reward when the intention is to induce others. Besides, in this there is reward also for those who listen. At times it would be preferable to read in a low voice so as to avoid inconvenience to others or showing off on one's part. Thus the reading either way has independent virtue. Sometimes one mode is preferred over the other. Many people have argued on the basis of this hadith that reading in a low voice is more virtuous. Imam Bayhaqi rahmatullah alayh in his book Kitab al-Shu'ab has written that Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha had reported that the reward of doing a good act secretly is 70 times more than that of doing it openly. But according to the rules laid down by the muhaddithin, this hadith is da'if. Hazrat Jabir radiallahu anhu reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Do not read in a loud voice, lest the voice of one should get mixed up with the other." Hazrat Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahmatullah alayhi found a person reading the Quran in a loud voice in Masjid al-Nabawi and stopped him. The reader, however, tried to argue, whereupon Hazrat Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahmatullah alayhi said, "If you read for the sake of Allah, read in a low voice. And if you read for the sake of men, then such reading is of no use." Similarly, the advice of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for reading the Quran in a loud voice has also been reported. Sharul Ihya contains both riwayat and athar, sayings of Sahaba urging the reading of the glorious Quran in a loud as well as in a low voice. So there's no hard and fast. See, when a person is, like when someone is reading, they're learning their lesson, then it is better for them to read in a loud voice. जी, जोर से पढ़ना है. जी, so that they learn their lesson properly. They're reading on their own, read it quietly. See, generally for us, the people of who are not in the habit of reading Arabic, and Arabic is not our language, there's a benefit of reading in a loud voice that we get accustomed to reading, in the proper accent that we should be reading. Read the Quran as it ought to be read. Rather, like person thinks that he's reading like Sheikh Sudais, and then when he starts reading, he's like Alhamdulillah, and he's like just murdering the tajweed on it. So there's benefit, and of course, the hadith is clear. So depending on our intention and what we are trying to achieve, we will read accordingly. But inshallah, and try to increase our recitation of Quran in this blessed month. Inshallah, we just cover some ahadith from the virtues of Ramadan as well. Although we had read them before, but no harm in revising some of them. عن عبادة بن الصامت رضي الله تعالى عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال يوما وحضرنا رمضان أتاكم رمضان الشهر بركة يخشاكم الله فيه فينزل الرحمة ويحط الخطايا ويستجيب فيه الدعاء وينظر الله تعالى إلى تنافسكم فيه ويباهي بكم الملائكة فأروا الله من أنفسكم خيرا فإن الشقي من حرم فيه رحمة الله عز وجل. Ubadah ibn Samit radiallahu anhu reported that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam one day, when Ramadan had drawn near, said, "Ramadan, the month of blessing, has come to you, wherein Allah turns towards you and sends down to you His special mercy, forgives faults, accepts du'as, looks at your competition for the greatest good, and mentions you to His malaika, and boasts about you to His malaika. So show to Allah your righteousness from yourselves, for verily the most pitiable and unfortunate one is the one who is deprived of Allah's mercy in this month." Ubadah ibn Samit radiallahu anhu reported that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam one day, when Ramadan had drawn near, said, "Ramadan, the month of blessing, has come to you, wherein Allah turns towards you and sends down to you His special mercy, forgives faults, accepts du'as, looks at your competition for the greatest good, and mentions you to His malaika with pride. So show to Allah your righteousness from yourselves, for verily the most pitiable and unfortunate one is the one who is deprived of Allah's mercy in this month." Commentary. In this hadith, we read about the spirit of competition among the believers. Read about the spirit of competition among the believers, one trying to do more good deeds than the other. In our own home, I am greatly pleased seeing how the womenfolk compete with each other, the one trying to recite more Quran than the others, so that in spite of domestic responsibilities, 15 to 20 juz of the Quran is read by one daily. I mention this only with a sense of gratitude to Allah, mentioning His favor, not with pride. May Allah accept their and our deeds and increase our good deeds. Ameen. ठीक है. So you'll compete to read more. Allah give us all tawfiq. Inshallah, ठीक है. We will see everyone tomorrow, inshallah. Subhanallah bihamdi. Subhanakallah bihamdi.